Carl, what brings you in today?
I'm just feeling really frustrated recently. Frustrated with things that are going on at home.
Okay, could you expound a little bit more? What things are frustrating you?
I think that like I have a couple of kids and they're pretty young, like one is 3, one is 4, and I feel kind of frustrated because I don't feel like they've been getting a lot of attention recently.
Attention from someone in particular or just in general?
I feel like my wife hasn't really been like nurturing them as much as I would like. I think that just, I don't know, I feel like they just need a lot of love, and that way they can, be able to develop properly and to have good communication skills eventually.
Okay, so what do you think your wife is doing that isn't giving them the love? Like what's getting in the way of her?
So my wife works right now, and
Okay.
so we usually like send them off to daycare because I work as well. And so they're usually at daycare for from around like 9 o'clock in the morning till like 4 o'clock in the evening. And so I just like worry because I don't want my kids to necessarily become more attached to a stranger than to their mother.
Yeah, that definitely makes sense. And so if I understand correctly, you're saying that you would rather your wife be in the home taking care of the kids than working.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. I definitely feel that way. I definitely feel like, because I feel like mothers have that natural, like, nurturing role, whereas, like, fathers don't necessarily have that, like, natural nurturing tendency. So, yeah, I definitely do feel that it would be better if my wife stayed at home to, you know, take care of the kids.
Okay. And going back to your childhood, do you feel like you got that nurturing from your mother?
Mm, I don't think I necessarily really did, which is why I think it's, like, super important. Like I think for my mom, like sometimes she was working, sometimes she wasn't. But I think throughout like my early childhood all the way through high school, my mom was working, and so it was actually like my dad who was, taking me to school and taking me into extracurriculars and things like that.
Okay. So if you were to switch this situation and see
Mm.
things from your wife's point of view, how do you think she would talk about this?
Mm, if it were my wife in this position, how would she talk about this? I feel like she would probably just think it's okay. I feel like she'd be like, oh, it's okay that they're going to daycare. Maybe like they're too young to remember anyways, whether or not I was around them, as long as they're getting love from us. Like when we're both at home, then that should be sufficient.
Okay. And what do you feel like others would say about your situation looking in?
I think it depends. Like, so I work at a company, at a business, and so like a financial firm,
Mhm.
and so I feel like most of my colleagues would probably say that, oh yeah, like you're overthinking things. It's totally fine to like have your wife work as well, and you can take care of the kids when you're both at home. But I also go to church, and so I also feel like my peers at church would agree with me that, my wife should stay at home and take care of the kids.
Okay. And so where do you think that you learned that belief that the wife should be in the home? Have you seen that modeled somewhere or
I just think that it's kind of like an evolutionary thing. Like it's something that's been going on for like, you know, thousands of years. Like men were like the hunters and trying to get food, and the women stayed at home to like nurture their kids. And so, and also I kind of feel like that's been, I don't know, that's just kind of been the norm. Like I know that I understand that like things like are changing in the modern day, but I would say like even like 50 years ago, it wasn't very common for women to be working, but it was pretty common for them to be taking care of the kids. So I guess I feel like I just still have that, I guess old school mentality.
hmm Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Well, thank you so much for explaining that to me, and we'll definitely talk about it more next time.